Hi, I'm Kat Fowler,
And I'm Amy Sikarskie.
and welcome to our 8th episode of Conversations with the Council of Light. So, I'm the host of the Soul Awakening podcast. I'm an energy healer and a reader, and I'm interviewing Amy, who is an intuitive channel and co founder of Spirit School and author of the Starseed Ascensions series with the books Messages from the Councils and Activating the Starseed. And before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. And so when you do, then you'll receive notifications when we release future videos.
Yes, and if you would like to, please leave a comment below and hit the like button and share with a friend.
Yes, and if you guys have any questions for the council themselves for a future episode, just email the council of light questions at gmail.com, and that's where we will review them. And we really love all of the comments that you guys have been leaving lately. It's so great to see that these series are really beautifully affecting people. So thank you guys. So today is going to be part 2 with star races. But before we do that, I did want to ask questions about star beings in general. So I'm looking forward to what they have to say.
This is going to be nice. Yes, so we will see what happens and what information they bring through. So I'm excited as well. And I'll just connect in with them. And then, of course, just like before, we'll flow with it and let them come through. So,
All right.
okay, 1 second here. Let me just tune in. Yes, we are here, and it is a very joyful opportunity for us to be here with you today. Greetings, dear ones. Thank you for the opportunity to come through on such a special occasion on a beautiful day in your time, and we are delighted to be here and are looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you. So we're very excited too. I wanted to, before bringing in other star races, ask a few questions about star beings in general. I don't know why, but it always happens where it's like late at night and then all these questions come into my mind. And so all of these questions came through about really star beings, their energetic anatomy and whatnot. So I'll just start with that. So I'm wondering, so for the human beings, as you know, we have our chakra system and it's the main 7 with us. And even though there's, 33 dimensions, or we have 16 dimensions in our grid, we primarily work with the 7. And so I do know that with a lot of star beings, they also have the same humanoid kind of body, that 5-pointed head, 2 arms, 2 legs kind of body on different star systems. So I'm wondering, do they have similar energetic anatomy as well with the chakra system, and what is that like?
Very good question indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, we will speak broadly about this topic because every form and each anatomical structure would have the energetic frequencies, the autonomy and boundaries for what they would consider or you would relate to as their physical body. But you understand that the structure of the physical makeup is much lighter and not as dense or compact as the human form, but there is energetic properties that govern and assist and support and maintain the roles of their physical form. We will call it physical form of their body and the prototypes of every star system and nation. So indeed they do, or we shall say. There are many of us here from the Council of Light, but each figure would have a form around them, and it would be energetic in nature. And often we come through in our energetic bodies, and this is when you see us, or you would see in your mind's eye a picture of a physical form that we are presenting. And so many times it is the energetic hologram or signature in coherence with our frequency that comes in together, you see. So there are aspects of chakras, if it were, but for many there are, they communicate mostly with the energetic field in its entirety, and that is one aspect of the human body as you continue ascending and you are focusing at this point in your time on the individual chakras, and then it will become a chakra system, and then it will merge into a full regulating energetic body, where at some point you may say it is all one, you see. But if you are to break it down and to dissect, there are principles within these systems for the forms on your planetary body and also in the other star systems, where they would have a loose outline of an auric field with many compartments within it that do regulate and assist for the enjoyment and the delight and the educational expression of the spirit. And then there are also chakra points that but they may look a little bit different, you see. There may be extra ones in certain places depending on the star race. They may have a few extra around the mind, or the heart chakra center, as you would call it, would be more merged with the throat and more expanding out, you see. So there are very similar properties and aspects when a star being is in a body or a prototype. However, when they are outside of it, then it is just energy, and it is energy of a quantum nature where all is one and everything can be processed very quickly, and you would not need to have or maintain, so to speak, a separate energetic dialogue with each chakra, or to be considering too much about the individual flow of the dimensions within each being's auric field, you see. So here in the physical body, it is more broken down and dissected in such a way. But we do have these expressions in the other realms of creation, but it is a little bit different, you see. So we do hope that this explains and answers your question of this conversation here, which you're asking about the energetic structure and of the physical body.
Yeah, I'm wondering at what point, like, is it when you go into the body? Because even when you're channeling, into Amy, at what point do you like lock into the chakras? Are the chakras part of the human anatomy or part of the humanoid anatomy? Or is it energy that has to kind of work and funnel through to work through a third dimensional or fourth dimensional, depending on the being physical form?
Indeed. So in this now present moment, we just as our consciousness that comes in, her physical body is supporting this process and her chakras are regulating, and sometimes we will make adjustments, or she will feel it as we are presenting information through, because she sees. Often she will see pictures and images, and we will speak to her behind the scenes as she is channeling and speaking to you. And in some of these instances, we will perhaps expand a certain chakra point or bring her awareness to a part of the body, where we then merge with the part of the body for a conscious connection. However, it is more energetic in nature. We come down through the crown chakra, and sometimes we come in through the auric field for support, like a warm, tight hug. We are sitting here around. And sometimes we do come in the system, and she will feel her energy and our energy commingle and come together, and then it expands out, you see. But we are not so much using our energetic structure, our aura, or our chakras, you see. We are using our consciousness and the vibrational frequency of light that comes in like liquid light, or a shower of rain. You may see it just coming down over and around and then within the body. So many of you will feel your teams in spirit when you are meditating and connecting in or doing energetic therapies, and you will feel the energy around you like a warm hug. You will feel the pressure upon your system. You will feel like a tingling sensation here upon the skin, and sometimes when you bring the energy in, you will then feel it from within the body and an expansion going out. And we have worked for many years with her prior to her physical channeling vocally. We have worked for over a decade with her to merge and commingle with the body, to bring her physical situation up where it can meet our vibration, and we have woven and we drop in and out to a point in time where here she is now and she can hold us. So sometimes she will feel that it's very fluid and natural, and other times, as you understand, when we bring in other beings whom she is not as acquainted with, or more of our frequency comes in, her breathing will change and her body will slow down a little bit to try and regulate the frequencies. As you understand, when Metatron comes in, her body is adjusting, and this is to an energetic frequency. So the particular vibration of our consciousness, and we are in a commingled consciousness at this time, but also the fuel, as she calls it, the fuel, the oomph, the amount, the quantity of energy that is coming in must be regulated. And you see, you all have this opportunity to connect with your team in spirit and the archangels and all on high who would have your highest good at heart, we are saying. So a lot of light and love and blessings around. But you could also connect in with your higher self and pulling more and more of that frequency within your core system here, your soul star chakra, your heart center, your abdomen here, your sacral and solar plexus chakras, to hold more of your light and your truth and who you are, because you did not, the physical body was not able prior to this time to hold as much light as you are now training it to be. So, so it is not so much, we are going to answer your question, it is not so much about our chakras and our aura coming in. It is more a consciousness, especially because we are a council. There is a collective blending and a consciousness coming in with the vibrational frequency of our spirit, you would say, is here within and around the physical body of our partner.
Mm. And about like percentage wise, how much of your energy or frequency do you think comes in?
Very well indeed, yes. Well, it can blend and merge from about a 1 to 2% to about 10%. And sometimes when individual frequencies come in, it will be around 5 to 7%, depending upon her experience prior to that moment with that frequency. So right now we are only here about 3 or 4% in, and she's able to feel us. We are moving the body quite beautifully. We are very connected in, but she is not overwhelmed. And when she is holding the space, and when she is facilitating group sessions on your social media platforms and with large groups, there is more of our frequency coming in. We hold her and support her, and her whole being begins to vibrate, and she feels light around her frequency, the frequency around her physical body emanating out. And in these moments, we are averaging around 10 to 12%, we will say, of the light coming into the body, but fully supported around, and also by the Archangel realms, for their frequencies are very bright. But in those moments at a 10 or 12%, they are not so much fully in the body. There is an aspect in a blending, but it is a very minute aspect of the archangels, because their frequency is very, very strong. And so humans often will not hold so much of the archangel frequency, but they feel it around, and then through their mind they receive telepathic communication or instant downloads, and they have an understanding and an awareness of the message which is coming to them. So there are different ways of communicating, but right now we are at 3 or 4%. We'll probably increase it to 7% through our conversation today.
Okay. That's so interesting. So what about non-humanoid star beings or ETs, like dolphin beings and praying mantis beings and beings that do not have the 5-pointed, humanoid form? What is their energetic system like?
Oh, all are different. Our partner is recalling one of our first visitations where she left the body, and she calls it a trip. It was quite a trip, she says, because she did travel through time and space out with some beings, and one of the beings just looked like a blob. just a big gummy drop, a blob of energy frequency with not so much structure separated, so no appendages. It was one unit. And for example, this sort of a being would have they have the light coming from within and emanating out, kind of like just a circle, like an auric field, one large chakra system, you see. And it is all functioning in one conscious moment of time. There isn't so much that they need to process through individual points within the system. As you understand the human body, we will speak solely of the 7 major chakras. Each chakra has a corresponding property and responsibility, but this other being, it was all in one. The system and the unit could process it all immediately. Now for, let's say, your dolphin beings, the beautiful beings of the oceans, you see, these Lemurian aspects have these beautiful chakra points that are more crystalline in nature, and they have some out along the sides of their ears and their sensory organs, because they do communicate differently, you understand, through the frequencies. And then they have a large one here in front, and so that they beam and they telepathically can very much communicate this way through space, through time. As you understand, there is no limitations for their communications. And then they also have a couple of minor chakras flowing down through the belly and along the back for the reproductive organs and their beating system, and for their respiratory and digestive tracts. There you are. There are little minor chakras, but they are so much already vibrating in the frequency of love. It is as if the heart center is already around and fully activated in their entire beingness. So it kind of can look to merge and blend with some aspects when you are viewing it. For some it may look to be that way. But very, very astutely and very, very with a strong contrast, you would notate the chakras around the mind, for they are very much speaking through these aspects. And you were speaking earlier of our partner, the Sirian frequencies, and the Sirian frequencies also speak very much from the mind. There's a direct communication, very deliberate, and you would call it intense, but it is just natural for these frequencies, you see. And the praying mantis, they too, small chakras around the throat. The digestive tract is supported by the flow of frequency within the system. They also work a lot with the mind. They are very astute and keen, and what is the word we're looking for? Very, very centrally focused with their attention. They are very tuned in and focused when they are working, and it is coming from around this system here, you see. So it is a very beautiful and joyful opportunity to tune into and to tap into the different life forms and how they are working with their spirit, which is the energy of their consciousness, and how the soul vibration does come in and corresponds with the interplay, the weaving of the body. So thank you very much for this opportunity. We have not spoken so much of it in this depth in the past, you see. So this is very good indeed. We are very happy for this conversation.
I find it interesting. And when I was talking about the dolphin beings, I meant like the bigger dolphin beings that aren't on this planet. Yeah, not these ones.
We're going off.
So I had a question about, bringing your soul frequency in, which we've talked about a little bit in the past. But in the case of someone like an ascended master, like Jesus Christ, Kuan Yin, Buddha, and they've achieved these ascended states, is that like a full merging of their spirit, their higher self, with the body, and that is what creates the whole light body effect and the reincarnation and what is that called? I'm missing the name for it. Jesus resurrected when he resurrected. So is that what is occurring? It's a full merging of the whole higher self spirit with the body, the physical form.
Well, we will say that for many years they are, while they were in the physical body, they were working towards that. And of course, outside of the physical body, they have reached a space and an attainment of enlightenment indeed. So the chakras all are trained or worked with to strengthen and expand, and then the energy flows up, and then it becomes overwhelming, where the entire system is glowing and bright and very strong, and then the the auric field is very palpable, and the strength has increased. But for the resurrection, so after the auric field is strengthened and the chakras as well, you here in this state of consciousness can activate your Makaba to ascend and come back into physical form. And that is similar to what did happen for the Christ when he was upon the cross. It ascended energetically, but then his system was so bright, he was able to transmute. And when we have shown our partner in the past, it would be as if you would see the energy and part of the physical body disappeared, like pixelations, just disappeared for a quick moment of the human time, and then come back, you see, and come back into form. So there was an ascension, a complete ascension, and then coming back into the body, and that was made possible because the entire system was bright and strong and all united for that level of enlightenment, or some may call it christening. So the Christendom, that space and state of awareness, was able to, when they were there, they were able to ascend to the higher realms of frequencies, and then they were able to come back in. So we are saying they, our partner is saying they, because it is not just the Benedict Christ that is in your history. Many other great and ascended masters have had the opportunities, whether they are known by others or only known within themselves, to transition up and come back into the physical body. It is very rare indeed, but it can be done. And we are saying it is not so much a goal or an intention of the human form, because the human, they are here for a purpose and a reason to have an experience in this plane of existence. And as you are transitioning through the higher levels of dimension and consciousness, you may find that it becomes your space and your state of resonation. You do not have to go up and come back down. You are just there where you should be. But for the particular the scenario that was surrounding these ascended masters in the past, and we are saying that is why they were called ascended. They ascended and then they come back into physical form. But this is what happened. Their whole system ignited and united and became one indeed.
And is that the same for like the Tibetan rainbow body monks, where they didn't pass away, but they're completely light body?
Yes, indeed, dear one. Yes, indeed. And you are seeing those who can see, but many can, with their physical eyes, and also their brow chakra, the Randa chakra, they are seeing the rippling in the waves of the different frequencies and the rainbow light body, because you are seeing all the frequencies together in one unit as the rainbow light body. And that is what's happening when they transcend, when they lift up. But many do not come back in, as in the re-erection. They actively and consciously are a part of that ascension, and it is a very beautiful experience for them and many around. And they have worked their lifetime or lifetimes to be able to create and obtain that capability.
Okay. And so I've asked about other galaxies in the past, but does the same kind of energy principles, the same kind of anatomy, chakra anatomy, and general energy anatomy apply in different galaxies as well? Or is that really just what goes on in our galaxy?
Oh, it does apply, because it is a form. It is a way to maintain structure, whether it be in whatever dimension it may be in. Yes, but yes, it is a way of maintaining form, and it is set up, prior to the physical body, the seeding of the race, we will say, or the first being who was in that form. So it is. We do not have the words, but we are showing our partner, perhaps multi-universes. We are showing her rows and rows of galaxies and the universes, and it applies to all creation. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Okay, I find that really interesting. I'm wondering now with humans. And the fact, actually, let me take this back. So, just keeping on the topic of energetic anatomy, what about planets? So, I know that a lot of people believe that Gaia, even though she has a planetary body, has a chakra system. And this chakra system is different points throughout the globe that her particular chakras are shining through. And so I want to know what you guys see on that, and different planets in general, like stars.
Well, we will speak of Gaia here, your mother, the earth, and it is very interesting because there are points that are centrally focal points, focused, and it makes sense to call them chakras, to compare them to the human form. But we have shared with our partner in the past that as time is moving and as the ascension is happening, and you are transitioning, and for many have already transitioned, based upon whatever dimensional frequency you are in, then that chakra point will have switched because Gaia is moving, you see. Her frequency is active in transition and moving. So some may say the heart chakra is in one location, and others may notate it to be in a different location. And we are saying it is fine, there is no judgment. It does not need to be so linear because you can feel the heartbeat all around, you see. You can feel the love and the Gaia all around. But for many, if they were in the 5th or the 8th dimension, perhaps the 12th even, they may say that her heart chakra is in the Mount Shasta, we shall say, or in Maui, we shall say, or that the consciousness is centrally located in the lands of Egypt, you see. So it just depends on the vibrational frequency in which you are a part of in this realm, because there are many realms commingling and overlapping and overlaying one another, you see. And that is why sometimes you resonate with others, and other times you are wondering what is happening in somebody's conversation or in their energetic state or in their life. You cannot quite connect or get it or grasp it. You are not in their frequency or in their realm, and you often see it based upon their level of awareness or consciousness and how they are expressing themselves and experience their life as a human, you see. So but Mother Earth does have centrally focused points that you could call chakra systems. She has the ley lines, which could be comparable to meridians of the human body, and there is an auric field that is around her, and it is bright and it is glowing, and you call it the atmosphere, and it does go up, you see, to the 16th dimensional frequency is where it emanates through, but a strong boundary at the 12th, and so then the light or the frequencies just emanate beyond that. So does this make a sense for Mother Earth? And for other planetary systems that are alive and active, yes, there is an energetic form around it. For those whom are dormant and quiet, it is as if the chakra systems have just closed for a moment and they're being very quiet and sleeping or hibernating, because it is a very long time for you. But there are energies around and within. Some planetary bodies do not have per se a spirit or a soul like Earth has Gaia. Some are just structures that are more, everything is just there, held together more through mental energy or a system put into place, a grid work holding it. There is not so much the life and the breathing, beating spirit and heart of the planetary body. On Earth, you have the planetary spirit of Gaia, whom is here within the system. So does this make a sense and answer the other questionings for you?
I'm wondering about stars. So our star, it's its own being, but it also, there's many beings within it. And so I'm wondering with different stars, like, in Sirius or Arcturus or all these stars, are they individual beings that are holding the frequency of the star, or is it similar to our sun, Solaris, whatever you want to call our sun, that has also multiple beings within it, and it acts like a portal? So what about the stars as bodies, and their energy?
It is the collective spiritual energy that is creating the vibration of that time and space. Yes, indeed, it is alive, it is active. There are spirit or soul frequencies dancing around and communicating and experiencing a life form or a life expression there upon those star systems, you see. And if in time, if the star were to be abandoned, then you would still feel an imprint around it. You would still be able to tune in and feel the vibration of the collective, of the communities that were there. But yes, similar to Solaris, your grand or great central sun, there is a life and there are frequencies creating the expression, the vibrational expression of that star system, you see. So there are some twinkling star beings. There are some spaces of stardust that do not have a soul energy inhabiting, and they are a beautiful, you could look at it just as it is scientific. There is not so much soul life to it, but there is consciousness within everything, you see. There are different frequencies of consciousness, different levels of conscious understanding and awareness and programming. There is consciousness around. So indeed, does that make a sense for you then?
Yeah, I'm wondering when like a star goes nova, when it explodes, um, is that like all of the beings going through an ascension process? Do all of them leave? What's happening with that?
Well, in these circumstances, many will know that it will be coming. They would already have transitioned into spirit form, and they will be surrounding. It is a transition. It is very emotional because it was home and they loved it and they cared for it, but it was a transition for the soul of the star. They had completed their course, so the vibration that was inhabiting, if you were to say like you have a Gaia here, per se, they had a spirit inhabiting and it was ready to leave. Or if they were to say we are closing down this way station, this stopover station, because there are many ports in the galaxies, and so when they are closing them down, then they could work with it to dismantle, to implode or explode, depending upon. And it is, for many, it is often a very an emotional experience, but then for some it is not so emotional. So it just depends upon the community, and it depends upon the energy of the space, and it depends on the intention and the purpose for when it was created. So, but yes, indeed, to answer your questioning, that is for the destruction, if you were to call it, but we do not like that word so much, but the transition of the star. But the beings are okay, you see, when this has been planned, you understand. But there have been some systems where there was unexpected, and then the physical body of the beings on the planetary system or the star system within that space, they were damaged, the physical body, and that created an instantaneous burst and flash of light where the spirit was separated from the body, and for some time the spirit would stay around that space until they were assisted with a knowing, as you understand, soul fragmentation and healing, and so they were assisted until they could be pieced back together through all of their psyche expressions, and then healed, and then brought up to another space of consciousness where they would perhaps choose to go to and through it again. But it is very different, and it's a very broad conversation. So we cannot speak in definite terms for each situation, but it is a very unique aspect for every situation and those who are a part of that experience.
Okay, that's so interesting. I mean, I know that's going to happen with our son at some point, but I don't think it'll be in our lifetime at all. But yeah, so yeah, we'll talk about something else. So my next question is about the collective consciousness. That's so as humans on Earth, it's like surrounding Gaia in a way, and it's what every single human being is plugged into, whether they like it or not. And so I'm wondering, are star beings similar with their own planets or their stars? Because the difference is, like, humans don't, travel in ships across the galaxy. So I'm wondering, with star beings that have the ability to time travel and travel, if they have their collective consciousness of their race has as much of an effect on them psychologically and emotionally as it does for human beings.
They are aware of it, but the further they are away from the system, it will begin to slowly fade over time. They will have an awareness, but it will not overwhelm them, and then the further they are away, it will not influence them as much, you see. So yes.
Okay, that's okay. Um, and I got, okay, so yeah, I'll just move on from that. And so with star beings and the grid that we've talked about, and we've talked about this a little bit, how we're within our 16th dimensional grid, but with all these different star races that we're going to be talking to and interviewing, they're within their own planetary grid, correct?
For those who are still experiencing life on their planet, yes. There are some who are around your planet that are more taking on the role of them, of being in life and being in a body, if you would call it that. It's a different state of consciousness than if they were just in spirit. And then you have those who are in spirit. And those who are in spirit are not tied or bound to any grid structure. And those who leave their planetary system have left the grid structure of that planetary body or that star system to be in and around the earth plane and the earth. And so that is why if they are to be hovering above the 16th dimension, it does not very much affect them so much. But if they are between the 12th and the 16th dimension around the earth, the bands around the earth, in the atmosphere around the physical property of earth, then they are held and suspended in space. And but if they come into the 12th grid, then they are influenced by the properties that the humans are influenced by. It would not be so much strength for some, and it would not affect them the same as the humans, but it is very similar in that they are influenced and they are feeling.
Mm-hmm. And so I understand with ETs that are higher dimensional that don't have a physical form. But what about the ETs that have physical forms, like in particular the Pleiadians, let's say? So do they have their own grid system? And then when they physically travel on a ship in a way, then they're entering our grid system. It's like they leave theirs in that capacity.
Yes, indeed. That is true.
Okay, that's a big risk to take, right? Because then do they have the same risk as humans where, like, they may not get out?
Of the grid system?
Mm-hmm.
There is always a risk, but they have mastered it, so they are able to, yes.
Okay, I see. Okay, and then I also wanted to know, with star beings in general, are all races, do they go by the primary genders of male, female, or are star beings in general more androgynous? And I guess there's different categories of star beings. So there's the ones that take physical form in some capacity, and then there's the ones that are interdimensional or higher dimensional that don't have physical form. So I'm wondering about gender roles with those different ETs.
Well, some do have male and female, and some do not. Some are non-binary, and some hold the reproductive properties of both genders so that they can create in any way which they choose. But it is a gift to create with a partner. It is a gift to create in a family unit. And so, yes, indeed, it is very different for each star race. And even over time, we are projecting that in the future, certain star races will blend or transition into other ways of creating life form upon their planetary system or their star body. But it is very unique and special for each. And So we cannot say one size fits all, but it is where you could have different opportunities within different star systems.
Okay. And I wonder, and I asked this question about humans, because now it's very much in the consciousness and collective consciousness of humans deciding to not conform to a particular gender, being male or female. And I'm not talking about transgender. I'm talking about somebody that keeps their physical form, but then doesn't conform energetically to a particular gender. And so I'm wondering, is this something that is collectively becoming more in our awareness? Is this something that more children coming in are being born as? Or what can you tell me about that?
It is not so much a collective evolution. It is it's very succinct to the particular being. It is very much a part of their energetic desires and makeup, and for many whom and what type of a life are they wishing to experience here on the earth plane. Some are bringing over their properties from past soul incarnations on and off the planetary body, and others are just a feeling, a blending and a mixture and a merging, or a complete disinterest in gender roles, and they are wanting to shine and be whom they are as a soul, because you understand you can be either a gendered in and out as you pass through and travel through many different lifetimes. So they are just saying, I will not make that be the focal point of this life expression and experience. We'll focus on other areas of creation and interests. So some have a general draw and desire to come in and be more physical in the masculine way, or more physical in the female way, you see, and to exude those properties. Others just are disinterested completely.
Okay. All right. Well, those are my questions about star beings in general. And so now, if you're interested, we were thinking of potentially bringing in a Sirian being, for the fact that right now we're in a Sirius gateway time, where it's lining up with the sun. And so it has a bigger influence on our planet. So if that's possible, then I'd love to chat with someone from Sirius.
Yes, indeed. Our partner has already been feeling the frequencies increase, and the body has been preparing as we were speaking for this transmission to hold the frequency of a Sirian being. This will be a new expression for her. She's making adjustments. We are making adjustments through her. She's making adjustments as you see her hands are moving. One moment, please. Yes, hello, greetings. We are here as a collective conscious frequency from the Sirian Star Nations, and it is a joyful opportunity for us to be here with you. We are a part of the Council of Light, and there are many other beings around whom are here from our star system and the planetary bodies that are holding and harnessing the Sirian frequencies. We are very happy to be merging through today in such a way for conversation, but we have been around and we are very strong upon the plains of Gaia. We do have many of our beautiful emissaries from the Sirian nation here in human form working with you, you see, and there are many around in spirit state, as you call it, working with the properties of earth, and we are here to support, and we are here to study. We are gaining a lot of wisdom, and we are creating a space, a sacred space that is full of peace. We are here to assist the planetary system and the human consciousness and the other aspects and elements of consciousness upon the earth plane. We are here with much interest, and we are here with a goal in mind to maintain this sacred realm and the structures. We do look at things a bit differently. We are not so much focused here, but there is obviously, we do have a heart center, but we are currently very much focused with intention on the earth, more in a scientific way or more in a linear wisdom way. But in our systems, we also will step back and we do communicate, and we do hold much love and much community on and off of planet Earth. And when we are in more of our star systems, we are more relaxed, we are not focused. You see, while we are here, we are at work, there is a mission and a project to oversee, and we are, you could say, in multiple places at once, as you may have 5 things in your mind throughout the day and you are juggling. We too are observing all of the aspects of what is happening on planet Earth. You see, we are seeing through the economy and the ecosystem. We are here seeing through the humanistic nature and that of the planetary body with your animal kingdom, and we are aware of much that is happening all at once. So we are focused. We do not have much interest or attention or time to sit into the light and fluffiness of it all, but we are here based in a mission which is based in love. But we are here to bring new systems of enjoyment to the planet, new systems of health and science to the planet. Much of this new information and technology is already here, and there are guardians watching and assisting to make sure that it is brought through at the right and appropriate spaces of time. And our spaces and time and our appropriateness is not to be it is not what is important. It is not to be discussed, because we would have a different opportunity that we would like to bring for you, but much of humankind is not ready. So we are in communication with the human and the consciousness of the human to see when collectively they will be ready for this information. They must be ready in their heart and mind and their spirit, because it is much new and advanced technology, and they need to understand the importance of it, and they need to understand how to hold and harness these frequencies, for they will not be able to be keepers of this information if their heart and mind is not in coherence, and if they are not in the right space of consciousness. We will not deliver the information and release it over to them in the full capacity, but we have introduced it, and we have guardians who are watching over and working with many on your planetary system at this time, and many who are in spirit form that will be in due time coming in as a star being, but in as a human, in the human body, to teach and maintain specific protocol around these governances of science, as you would call it. So it has been a very beautiful experience and a very interesting experience. We have been feeling, as you would call it, up and down, in and out, with all that we have had to work through and navigate through and manage. So if you would say emotionally roller coaster, but it is more planning and making moves and counter moves for what is happening with the energy of your life and your kind here on the Earth system. So how are you? And what specific questions do you have for us? We just started coming through so strongly, and we had a message to deliver, you see. But we are open to conversation, indeed.
Thank you. So how long have you been here working with Gaia? And my question is almost why? Like, what is the benefit to the Sirian nation to work with Gaia?
Indeed. Well, we have come and gone through eons of time, but very much for the past 200, excuse us, we are looking at the number 2,000 years, Earth human years, we have been around observing. And sometimes we send scouts in, and sometimes we send emissaries into physical body to take a temperament and to see what is going along. And for many whom are Sirian starseeds, they are also making adjustments to the physical bodies and the family lineage. They might come in a little bit with more ease and grace and be a little bit more comfortable in the prototype of their choosing, you see. But we have been around, and particularly particularly for the past 200 years, we have increased our strength around the planet and within the planet. We are here around and within. You see how much of our consciousness from off the planetary body, from the Sirian star races, are being projected to the planet like a satellite beam, you could say, to keep information and keep a touch on things, to see how it is going. We are happy to be here because it is a blessing, a gift, and a delight to be a part of such a beautiful, grand experiment and experience. And what does happen on the planet does energetically affect the rest of the universe, you see. So it is to our betterment to be here and to understand. Most races have a pulse on things and understand what is happening here, and many are surrounding and protecting and supporting as you are going through the transition, and you are saying it's being dismantled and a lot of darkness is releasing and clearing, and we are here to hold your hand and lift you up and to give you hope and to know that it will all be very well indeed. In due time, you will have worked your way through this moment in time. So yes, indeed.
And what dimensional frequency bands do Sirians primarily reside in?
Very good. Well, primarily reside in, it depends where we are. So when we are where we are in our star system, we are in the 24th dimensional band. When we come around Earth, we particularly, many of us like to stay at the 16th dimensional band. And when we come in as we are now, we are in the 8th dimensional frequency, and our partner has lifted her vibration to meet us in the 8th dimensional frequency, which is pretty easy for her, but it's just that our energy is so different, you see. So she's doing very good holding it, and you are seeing the movement of the hands because this is regulating our frequencies as we are here with her. So currently we are in the 8th dimensional frequency, those whom you are hearing speaking, you see.
Okay, and what do Sirians typically look like? Or do you have any kind of a physical form or preference of how you look when you're in a 24th dimensional field?
One moment, please. We are showing our partner so we can find the words. Nope, we will just say balls of light, orbs of light, but there is a vibration within it that would look like, how should we say, geometrical in nature. Within this form, there is a uniqueness. Like every pattern of a snowflake is individual, the same for our energetic signature. And if you were to visually observe, you could see striations of color and light and vibration, and a particular pattern or structure within the form of light. But if you feel into it, you are just feeling the vibration you see. So it is more than just seeing or sensing. There is a vision with it. And we communicate with each other telepathically, and also we glow to communicate, and we do patterns to glow for communication, and sometimes we will merge together to be one unit for a complete transition of information, a transmission of information in a now moment all encompassing. So when we are there, we are more to you and your understanding, energetic in nature, but there is a slight structure to our beingness.
And do you have families and community and things like this, like individual groups of families like humans do?
We do, but not so much like the humans. We are all connected. We are all supporting. We are in a higher plane of awareness. You understand from the beginning of our conversations when we were going through the dimensions. As you get up higher, there is not so much separation. But we have where we recognize one another, and perhaps we have some who would stay small groups of 2 or 3 or 4 maybe, for a joy and delight in communication, and then they would separate and we are humming as a full community, a full unit. We are humming all together.
And I've heard that there's several different animals on Earth that are connected with Sirian frequencies. Of course, everyone says the dog. And then I've heard also dolphins and different animals. So, can you speak to that?
Yes. Yes, indeed. We do communicate through the dolphin form. It's a hybrid because there are other elements and aspects within the dolphin form, but we do communicate with them. Therefore, we can channel through them, you see, like we are here experiencing for a moment. But they hold our vibration very beautifully to help maintain certain vibrational frequencies, which will look like energetic patterns or structures through the land, the ocean and the land of the earth plane. And the dog, you are saying, the canine. We do not so much come in through canine, but we are around canine, and we like the canine. We find a special interest to the canine, and they are beautiful, beautiful souls indeed. So that is the canine that we are interested in. They are very delightful to us and interesting to us. And sometimes the elephant we take interest in, the elephant. But if we were to say we come through a peacock and a dolphin very often.
Okay. And from your dimensional view, where you typically reside, how do you feel everything is going on Earth? What's your opinion on how you see things unfolding in this now moment here on Earth?
Well, there have been some disruptions of energetic expression, which was needed, and we are just trying to hold the frequency around to let it purge out. You see, there will be more of that over the next 2 years, and then everything will settle for a little bit. It does depend upon each individual expression and what you are tuning into, but collectively we are speaking. And we have no judgment. We are here to support, and we are seeing what is happening, and we are here to maintain a frequency to help support the systems restructure themselves.
Okay. And if there is, or I guess for any of the Sirian star seeds that are watching that would like to get more in touch with the frequency of Sirius, and also maybe if you have a message for them so that they can hear from you, if you have anything to share with them or say.
Well, we have been channeling through much of our vibration. We will sit here for a moment and send one through. So if you would like to feel the vibration of the Sirian stars, we invite you to close your eyes and just to breathe and go within for a moment here. If you are new to our frequency, you will understand it is a different and you will greet it. If you are a part of the Sirian star nation, you will feel it as if you are home, and points of light within your system will activate and your heart will expand. You see, you just need to, with your intention, ask to tune into us. And if you are a star being, it will be very second nature indeed. In a quiet space, clearing away the disruptions of your day, regulating your energetic light body, and then calling in the Sirian star beings, of which many of you have a representative or an ambassador of the Sirian star nations as a guide and a part of your council. So our partner is a feeling that we shall release from the body. She's getting very hot. Our energy is very much running through, and so we will prepare to leave from the body, unless if there is another additional question, we could take one more.
I guess for star seeds here that are working with the Sirian vibration, I do know that there's a lot with grid work going on with the Sirian vibration, and there's a lot of Sirian gateways. So is there any advice or anything you'd like to share with people that are looking to do grid work or work more with the planet, but through Sirian gateways on the planet?
Yes, you will be called within your heart and you will be contacted by a Sirian representative to assist you in opening and closing or running your frequencies through the grid system and these portals of time you see. And if this is news to you, you may find that you'll receive more information in the days and weeks and years to come if it is for you. But for many it is, and for many it is not. So it is, if it is not, do not worry. You cannot force it because you must be energetically ready. And when you are energetically ready, we will make a connection with you, you see. So if this
Question.
is... Yes, indeed.
Okay. What is the connection? Is there a connection between the Great White Brotherhood and Sirius?
Well, we do support. Our frequency does come in. We're around Saint Germain. We are around with their communities from time to time, but it is not solely just us. You see, there are many star beings around and around the Telos Nation and all aspects of the Great White Brotherhood, as you would call these ascended masters and beings. Yes, we work with them tandem, hand in hand, and there are representatives from Sirian frequencies that are there.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so very much. We are preparing to leave the physical body, and we do feel that we will leave completely. The channel will not have the council come through, so she will come back into her body momentarily. One moment, please. Okay, I'm back. Okay, yes, I'm back. My eyes are sticking together. Wow, hi.
I'm always sending earth energy as this is happening with the new races. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I don't
As
think
you're
my
coming
hands were...
in. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was getting hot. I was like, okay, I'm getting hot. She's getting hot.
Yeah, I was asking him, I'm like, could you turn the air on? Because we have an air conditioning unit, but you can't hear it. I think they did. My fan is slowly spinning. But yeah, it was like it was building up the whole time. So, so when you channel and you hold energy, you get so hot. So that's what was happening. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was really cool. That was really, really cool. I'm excited, and I'm glad that we're doing this now in this time during this gateway. And ideally, we're going to have this out really soon. And so this will be, I think, very helpful for a lot of Sirian starseeds and just people here that have that aspect in their DNA to see that and feel the transmission.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really strong. So I think if you resonate with it, it'll just like turn on codes, and if it's meant to be, like, it'll happen really quickly. And so, but it's all energy. So you just, close your eyes and let it hit you like waves. I was feeling it go out like waves, and then one big boom. I felt like it was building, and then there was one big burst of light towards the end. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for doing that. How was that for you?
It was intense. It was really intense. I don't know that my hands were like, you couldn't probably see my hands at the end, but they were shaking as they were leaving, just like shaking, whoo, for the energy to release. And I'm really happy that the intention was set at the beginning that they would come through, because it did take almost the entire time of us speaking. I kept feeling it getting stronger, and they were slowly coming in, so that I could hold them. So that was lovely. So thank you. Thanks for suggesting that we work with them today. It was a beautiful experience.
It's actually truly surprised at how high vibrational they are. I think I had a concept that they were like closer to 9th or 10th. And I was really surprised. Yeah, that was, so when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is probably a lot for you right now.
Well, they were showing like wherever they're at, they have to adjust. So probably that would make sense for people that are communicating with them. I'm hearing especially like telepathically as they're around Earth, they come in to the 9th and 10th. You know, they can move up and down. So it would be accurate that if somebody, you know, they were in communication and they said, well, what dimension are you in? And they said, oh, we're in the 9th or 10th. But they were saying, you know, like when they're not around Earth, it's like the 24th is where they typically reside. So, and then of course you have to consider time travel, time and space. So if somebody's tuning in through a memory or an expression or going back previously, then they might have been at a lower frequency in that space of time.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. We always appreciate all of the comments, and feel free to share this with anybody that you know is a starseed or open to this information, and especially if they have a connection with Sirius, the stars. So, yeah.
Yes, so thanks so much. And I also just wanted to share that I'm bringing some of the channel messages over to spiritschoolmagic.com, and there'll be some there that aren't available on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube and you want to check out some of my really early beginning channel messages, which there's a lot of content, and in the future I'll be building a big library at that location also.
Yeah, I do recommend watching that. Before I started, before we met in person, but before I started interviewing them, I would like religiously watch all of the videos because I found it so interesting, and I really liked their vibration. And I remember, I won't say like who or what, but I remember the first time I watched a channeled message, I was quite taken back, and I really didn't love the vibration. And so I remember when I first started watching the council, I was just immediately like, oh my gosh, and I love their voice and I love their energy. So I would definitely, for those of you guys that are newer to this, these interviews, definitely check out the older ones. There's so many nuggets there. I feel like our interview series picks up from all of that information, and I tried not to overlap too much. So it's definitely would be new content to people. But I tried to almost build on what I have previously watched. So.
Yeah, definitely. This is all building on, so you'll get some foundational information. And also if you're interested in channeling and what it's all about, I've shared my whole process basically, like from when I very first started, where I would tone, and it's so embarrassing to me now to watch it. I'm like, oh my gosh. But they would tone and they would regulate my field through sound before coming in, and then sometimes you'll see my body moving a lot because their energy was just so intense. And so now I'm, built up where I can hold it at certain times, like where my body looks like it's still. But yeah, there's a lot of information around them, our relationship together, where they're from, and channeling in general. So yes, I would recommend it if you're interested. It's spiritschoolmagic.com. So.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, just email them to thecounciloflightquestions@gmail.com. And thank you so much, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to our interview series, Conversations with the Council of Light. We are very much looking forward to bringing you many more to come. You can find Amy online at amysikarskie.com, spiritschoolmagic.com, and on Instagram at amysikarskie. And you can find the Council of Light on Instagram at starseed_ascensions. You can find me online at catfowler.com and on Instagram at catfowler, as well as check out the Council of Light's original interview on the Soul Awakening podcast, which sparked the idea for this whole series. So we wish you a beautiful day filled with love, light, and peace, and we look forward to seeing you on the next show.